Hello. Hello.
Oh, good evening.
I was having some my internet wasn't working well, so it got late. Got late.
Okay, it is okay. So are you okay now?
Yes.
Okay. Have you already eaten your dinner?
Yes.
Okay, can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, what have you remember last lesson?
Mm, that lesson. Uh. The word.
Yes.
Generosity, something. Yeah.
Yes.
Now and teaching.
What else?
Shy, shy, shy. Sympathy,
Yes,
sympathy chip.
empathy.
Intimative, intimative.
Yes. Intelligent. That is
Uh,
intelligent.
yeah. Puncher, puncher. Um, Reward. Uh, not. I don't. I cannot remember all.
You forgot?
Reward.
Okay. Okay, just wait for a minute, okay? Just wait. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
What?
So today, let's learn another lesson. Okay, are you ready? This is for wait, the grammar. Okay, please don't forget about those vocabulary that you've learned, right? And also, please practice that vocabulary to yourself. Okay, most especially the self-confidence and what else? The generosity. Okay, being kind to someone. So let's move on. I will share my screen to you. Okay, just tell me if you cannot see. Okay, look at. Can you see my slide? Can you see it already?
Russian intermediate,
Yeah,
English high.
that is grammar. Okay, so today our grammar is the relative clauses. Okay, can you please read it? What is relative clauses?
What?
Can you see my slide? Yes or no?
Screen?
Yeah. Okay, just wait.
Yes.
Okay. Go, read relative clauses.
Oh no, no. I
No?
see the thumbnail, not the content.
Okay, just wait. How about that?
Uh, yes, relative clause give us information about the person or thing mentioned.
Okay, so relative clauses give us information about the person or the thing mentioned. Okay, so let's learn this. Okay, so we have to define the relative clauses and non-defining relative clauses. So here is it. Go. Can you please read it?
Vocabulary. Okay.
Defining relative clauses.
Defining defining relative clause come immediately after a noun and give vital information about that noun. They tell us which person, thing, or place we are talking about. She's a nurse. Which nurse? She's a nurse who looked after my father. They can go to the middle or at the end of the sentence. The nurse who looked after my father is in her 50. Please, the nurse who looked after my father. Relative pronouns are different depending on whether they refer to people, place, thing, or position.
Yes, so defining relative clauses come immediately after the noun. So you know already what is the noun, right? That is the name of a place, thing, right? Person. Okay, and give vital information about that noun. So they tell us which person, thing, or place we're talking about. So our noun here is what? She's the nurse. What is your noun? The nurse, right?
No. Yeah.
Okay. So which nurse? So telling about the thing, okay, or the place. So she's the nurse who looked after my father. Okay. They can go in the middle or the
Okay.
end of the sentence. The nurse who looked after my father is in her 50s. So what? There is already a noun and a relative clauses. So relative pronouns are different depending on whether they refer to people, places, things, or the possession. So go. No. Please read
Who,
it.
who or which can be replaced. I can replace the subject or object of a sentence. They replace when they replace the object, it's possible to omit who or which. That is the boy who helped me. Subject. That's the girl who I met at jet party. Object. That's the girl I met at the party at jet party. Or mission. No. We
Okay.
often use that. uh, we often use that instead of which, and can use that instead of who in informal English. Here's the city that you were asking about. That's the girl I that is the girl that I met at the party. In very formal English, we can use whom instead of who when the pronoun is the object of the clause. He was a leader whom many people admire. Preposition can go at the end of a relative clause or in very formal style at the start. He didn't get the job which he applied to. He wasn't appointed to the post for which he applied.
Yes. Okay. First, we have to study about the relative clauses. We have already the noun. Okay, we know already what is the noun, right? So first, we must to know about the relative pronouns. So who? So who is that is referred to the people? Okay, who? You know it already. The people or this the the animals, right? Okay. Where? So where there is the places where they are stay or something just like that is the area which that is the things. Okay, remember that whose that is possessions. So we have who, where, which, whose, which is people, places, things, and the possessions. So here in one example, who or which. So that's the boy who helped me. Who? What is who in the sentence? The boy, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the boy is the who helped.
Who helped
Okay, that's the
me?
boy who helped me. So who? There's the boy who helped. Okay, that's the girl who I met at Jake's party. So where? Where? That is in the Jake's party. Who? The girl. Okay. So we often use that instead of which and can use that instead of who. So example, here's the CD that you were asking about. So you are not using the which, right? But you often use that
Yes.
because that is easy to use that in that sentence, right? Here's the CD that you were asking about. Okay, next. That's the girl that I meet at Jake's party. So instead of who, you always omitting that by using that. Okay? So
Okay.
in very formal English, we can use whom instead of who when the pronoun is the object of the clause. So yes, we use that not all the time that we use whom. It depends also about the sentences. So here in our example, we can easily use whom um instead of who. So he was a leader whom many people admire. What do you think? So, preposition can go at the end of a relative clause or in very formal style at the start. So, example, he did not get the job which he applied for. He was not appointed to the post for which he applied. Okay? So there are many ways about defining relative clauses, but it depends upon also on how to make a sentences. Okay? But just remember always about the relative pronouns. Okay? So it is difficult in the first place, but if you really understand or if you really study about those pronouns or something just like the relative clauses, you can easily make the sentence or you can easily understand what are the parts of that clauses. Okay? But one thing is you must know always the noun in every sentence. Okay? Ngoyen,
Yes. Okay.
I am past. Do you think? Okay. So complete the text with who, which, where, and whose. I know you can do it. Go.
Okay.
Just try. Just write your answer.
This EKT Stalliano, a girl whose idea to grow vegetables for the homeless has improved the life of thousand people. In 2008, he planted a seed which grew into a 12 kilogram cabbage, 20 kilogram cabbage. Mm. She donated it to a soup kitchen. Uh, she donated to a soup kitchen, which it fed more than what 275 people. Aware
Okay, just continue. I will explain it later.
people who were living on the street. She decided to create a garden where she could grow vegetable, which she which she could then donate to the organization. which have homeless people. Katie is a girl whose mission in life is simple to have older.
Okay. So this is Katy Stagliano, a girl. So instead of who, we use whose, right? Why?
Because it's a possession is
Yes. We have the possessions, okay, of the relative pronouns. Has improved the lives of thousands of people. In 2008, she planted a seed. So we are not using where, whose, which. That is the things, right? So
yes,
what she planted? That is a seed, right? So which grew into a 20-kilogram cabbage. She donated it to a soup kitchen. So what is in the kitchen? That is a place, right? So you must choose the where. Okay? It is easy to understand, right? But find the words that is relative. Okay? It fed more than 275 people. So people, what is that? That is who, right?
homeless.
Yeah, that is the
Okay.
people who are living on the streets. She decided to create gardens. So gardens, another, that is the things. She could grow vegetables. Vegetables, that is a things also, which, right? She will then donate to organization which help homeless people. So Cactus Girl, who or whose mission in life is simple to help others. So it is easy to understand, right? If you really know the relative pronouns, which is who, which, where, and whose, right? The people, things, place, right? Okay, go. Non-defining relative clauses.
Non-defining relative clause come immediately after a noun and give us extra rather than vital information about that noun. We often use them to combine information from two simple sentences. Tom Hanks is a famous actor. He was born in California. Tom Hanks, who was born in California, is a famous actor. Non-defining relative clause can go in the middle or at the end of the sentence. It starts with a comma and end with a comma. It is the middle of the sentence. Or full stop if it is the end. We spent a week in Berlin where my aunt lived. Berlin, where my aunt lived, is a great place to visit. In a non-defining relative clause, we can never omit the relative pronouns, nor can we replace who or which in that.
Okay, so what do you mean by non-defining relative clauses come immediately after a noun and give it extra rather than vital information about that noun? So we often use them to combine information from two sample sentences. So that is non-defining relative clauses, which is two sentences that makes into one sentence, right? So just example, Tom Hanks is a famous actor. One sentence. He was born in California. So second sentence, right? So when you have a defining relative clauses, Tom Hanks, comma, who was born in California, comma, he is a famous actor. So you are describing Tom Hanks, right? So in the first place, that is they use for the two sentences. But if there is a non-defining relative clauses, now you can make it one, and then you will combine the two sentences into one by using only the comma. Okay?
Okay.
So just please always remind or just always remember about that non-defining relatives and the defining relative clauses. So in a non-defining relative clause, we can never omit the relative pronoun, nor can we replace who or which with that. So why? because there is two sentences, right? You cannot omit something because you only use the comma when you make one sentence on the non-defining relative clauses, no omitting some words, right? Unlike the defining relative clause that you can change, right? The who into whose, right? The that, okay, in which, right? So there are many different part of non-defining relative clauses that different also to relative clauses. But just remember that defining relative clauses as there is a relative pronouns in the noun, and then the non-defining relative clauses is there is two sentences that you must combine into one sentence by using the comma. Okay? And there is no omitting of words. Just always remember that. Oh, see? This is defining and non-defining relative clauses. Go. Please read it and understand what are those differences between the defining and the non-defining. Okay?
Okay.
Go.
If
You
I need,
must first read the defining, then non-defining, defining, non-defining, none. Go.
okay. Defining no comma, necessary information essential to distinguish which person we are talking about. I call my brother who live in Ontario. I have more than one brother and I call the one I have more than one brother and I call the one that live in Ontario. Between comma, extra information, not necessary to distinguish which thing or person we are talking about. My brother who live in Ontario is older. I have only one brother and I'm just mentioning that he live in Ontario. We use that, we can use that instead of who, which, that is the mark which that I bought in Paris. I didn't know the man who that was there. We cannot use that. We cannot use that instead of who, which this by which called a fortune are made in Japan. Not not that called a fortune. Relative pronoun can be omitted. We can omit who with that when they are followed by subject plus verb. Do you like this song with that I wrote? That's the man who that I like. Relative pronoun cannot be omit. We cannot omit who with they introduced me to John who I like immediately. Not John, I like immediately.
Yes. So what have you understand about defining and non-defining relative clauses?
What? What?
Go.
You say
Okay, what have you understand about the difference of defining and non-defining clauses?
defining clause doesn't need comma and it is essential information and on the other side the non-defining need comma and it just give extra information, not really necessary.
Okay. In other words, okay, defining there is no comma, and non-defining there is a comma. So meaning, as I said, in two sentences, you will make it one by using the comma. Okay. So in the defining, we can use those relative pronouns, right? We can use that whose, where, which, the, that. Okay, we can use that to um omit instead of who. Using that instead of who or which, right? But in the non-defining, we cannot. Why we cannot use that instead of who or which? Because there is
Uh,
no omitting on that part. Okay?
yes.
So
Okay.
here in defining, relative pronouns can be omitted. So meaning we can omit just like we say in the who, where, or which, we can use that. So we omit already that words. But in the non-defining, you cannot omit something, right? You cannot be omitted in the non-defining words. So just remember the defining, no comma, no omitting
Yes.
words, and then you can use that. In the non-defining, there is comma between the two sentences make into one used by using comma. We cannot use that. Why? Why we cannot use that? Because we are cannot be omitted something, right? Relative pronouns cannot be omitted in non-defining. Okay.
Okay.
So now, can you do it? Rewrite the sentences in less formal style. Okay, I will give you one example. So this is it. The car that we drove to London and belongs to my mom. So what word is be omitted?
That
Yeah.
the word.
Which is changing by that, right?
Yes.
Okay, number two.
This is the address to which you should write. This is the address you should write.
Okay. This is the address which you should write to. So what? Are you
Um,
omitting something?
the exam about which algorithm is on Monday. The exam algorithm is on Monday.
Okay. Next. The exam I'm worried about on Monday. So did you omit?
Chris is a friend with whom I went to Italy. Chris is a friend I went to Italy.
Okay, is there any what?
Uh, the man, the man about whom I told you is over there. The man about I told you, the man I told you is over there.
Yes. The man who I told you about is over there. Okay, next.
The man I told you about is the girl to whom you were talking. Mm, Who is the mm, who is the girl you were talking about? Huh?
Okay. Who is the girl
Who is the girl you were talking to? Yes.
who we're talking to? So whom instead of who, right? Okay, choose the correct answer E today. Sometimes more than one answer is possible. Go.
Mm, I met a boy. I met a boy whose brother is in my class.
What is your answer?
He is the man. Eh? Eh?
Yes, very good. Number two.
He's a man who I. He's a man who. Who is the man who I saw on the train? Oh, oh, okay. So now, is
There is
this a
a no
best?
pronoun, right? Why?
Yes.
He's the man. So who? The
Omit,
man.
omit. You can omit because it is defining clause.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, number three.
Is that the dictionary which you bought yesterday? A and D, A and D. Oh,
Mhm.
no.
Yes, tell.
P
Is
two.
that the dictionary you bought yesterday? Okay, number four, try.
Show me the computer IBD that you got for your
Are you
birthday.
sure?
Yes,
Deal.
IBD
Why?
because it's defining clause.
Yes, that is yes. Number five, try.
Is that the cafe where you worked last summer? E and E. Let's see.
Is that the cafe? So what is a cafe? Is that a place or a thing?
A
So
place.
you will use where because that is a place. Okay, number six.
New Year's Day is a day which come after New Year Eve. A and C, D, A, C, D. Oh, no D.
Which or that? Okay. Number seven.
There is the girl. I whose phone I borrowed. A.
Yes, very good. Okay. In which sentence can we omit the relative pronoun? Go. Just fine.
Patient and tolerant are quality I admire. Patient and tolerant are quality I admire. I like people who are modest and thoughtful. Punctuality is quality which is quite rare in young people. Sam is a boy who people see. Sam's boy, Sam is a boy people see as good humor and generous. I'm grateful for the sympathy you show. Jonah is a girl who's always willing to help. So
So, in which sentence can we omit the relative pronoun?
1 and 5, 1 and 4. Oh,
Yeah. Patience and tolerance are qualities which I admire. So, we can omit that. Sam's a boy who people say is good-humored and generous. The second is not. Why, look, I like people who are modest and thoughtful. That is two sentence. Punctuality is a quality which is quite rare in young people. Still, you cannot omit that. I'm grateful for the sympathy which you showed. Doesn't omit the. Okay, Joanna is a girl who is always willing to help. Okay.
okay.
So one more. Sometimes more than one option is correct. Okay. To complete, go.
With the girl, with the girl, with the girl who is B, C, and E. B, C. With the girl, oh, C, E.
Yes.
Who,
See,
okay.
who's the girl that is sitting over there? Okay. Next, number
Okay.
two.
Did you get the job which you apply for? That and which? No, Bruno. Oh.
Okay. Number three.
A nurse is someone whose job is to care people in hospital. B.
Yes. A nurse is someone whose job is to care for people in the hospital. Number four.
That is the outfit which uh, where my dad work. In which and where? Yes.
Yes. Okay, you need to add the correct relative pronoun. Who, which, where, or whose. Go.
Our neighbor, our neighbor who want to give up the job, our neighbor who want to give us job. We spend what? Uh okay. Who
Who?
I
Yes.
okay. We spend a week in New York, which is the largest retailer where my mom used to live. Okay. My cousin Grace, uh, whose mother is a nurse, want to be a doctor. Walmart, which is the largest retailer in the world, is an American company. We bought this furniture at EK, which is a Swedish company.
Okay. Okay, go. Second.
Ben lived, Ben lived in San Francisco and he does work for Apple. Ben, whose dad work for Apple, live in San Francisco. Lucy is a talent chef and has a lot of experience. Lucy, who is a talent chef, has a lot of experience. My sister used to study in Merit and now works there. My sister worked at Merit where she studied, where she used to study. My job is to be relaxing, but now it's very stressful. My job, which used to be relaxing now, is now very stressful. I sat next to Laura at school and she's a TV star. Laura, whom I sat next to at school, is now a TV star.
Yes, very good. So next. Oh no, what is this? Rewrite each pair of sentences as a single sentence with a non-defining relative clause. Okay, I will give one. So she was excited after the interview, which lasted 2 hours. Next, go. That
2 hours.
is easy for you.
My local department store had offered me a job to my friend works there. My local department store, which mm, which two of my friend works there, has offered me a job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next.
Okay. My neighbor is going to for an interview at Google. Her degree was in computing. My neighbor whose degree was in computing is going for an interview at Google.
My neighbor whose degree was in computing is going at the interview at Google. Okay, number four.
Completing the training course means you can take English abroad. It lasts 6 months. Completing the
What is that?
training course, which which it would last 6 months, means you can teaching English abroad. Right?
Okay, next, number five.
I will never forget my first job. It was in a factory. Mm, I will never
It was
forget
in
my
a
first
toy
job,
factory.
which was in a factory. Yes, of sauces.
Okay, number six.
My violin teacher helped me to get a place at music college. He wanted me to be a professional musician. My violin teacher who want me to be a professional musician helped me get a place at music college. I study at London School of Economics. My father had been a student there. I study I study at the London School of Economics, which, where my father had been studying, has been a student. Where, okay.
Yes, number
Gemma,
8.
Gemma wants to study language at university. Her dad is French. Gemma, whose dad is French, want to study language at university.
Yes. So Jima, who studies French, wants to study languages at the university. So what is that? Is that easy for you? Not all are
Okay.
easy. Yes. Okay, just remember that, Noyan, that all of that sentence are very easy if you really understand about the non-defining relative clause and the defining relative clauses. So just don't forget those words, the important case that you must know on that part. Okay. So thank you so much for your time today. Please study. Okay. Please always read that so that you can easily understand. So I will ask you next meeting about the non-defining clauses and the defining relative clauses. What is the difference on that? Okay. So just read. Okay. Just read, repeat and read, and then just put it in your mind. Okay. So
Okay.
just practice also on speaking English, okay? And when you
Okay.
read some words, please do not read it in fast, okay? So that the listener can easily understand what you are saying, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
as of now, yes, your grammar is very good. Need more practice. Speaking also need more practice. I know, but I know you can do it, okay? And one thing, please don't forget your self-confidence. And please do not be shy, okay? Okay, good night, Noyan. Bye-bye. See you next time.
Bye. Bye.